Welcome to Mac OS Essentials. Today, you'll master Finder, the dock, Spotlight, system settings, quick looks, tags, stacks, compression, and the trash. Everything you need to get going with your Mac. First, we want to start off with the Finder basics. Finder is this icon here in the bottom left of your dock. It is a smiley face with a blue side and a gray side, and that is what we use to find everything on your computer. This is a Finder window, and as you can see, it'll show you different files that you have attached. You can browse on the sidebar here for other various places, or you can go to your top level folder and see all of the places and the folders and files that you can keep on your computer. Now, this sidebar has a different way you can show or hide the sidebar like this. Go up to View, select Show or Show Hide Bar. And you can also track down here the status bar, which will show you how much memory you have left on your computer. You can also go up to the view and say show the path bar or hide the path bar, and that'll show you where they are located. So if I say show path bar, you can see that on my hard drive underneath the users and my name or the name of the user you're logged in, these are the folders within. If I were to click into somewhere else, this will update accordingly so that you know exactly where these files are located. Now, if you're in a space and you want to create a new folder, you can right-click or two-finger click and just simply select New Folder. You can also do this by going up to the menu up here and saying New Folder underneath the File menu. If you want to customize what is in this sidebar, you can also do that. You simply find a folder that you want to access often, and you click and you drag while still holding down and wait for a little blue line to appear, and that'll allow you to customize what is in those favorites. You can also click and drag out, wait for it to turn to an X, and then release to remove it. If you'd like, you can also hide some of these other locations or tags, and you can customize this as you would like. Another feature of Finder is what we call Quick Look. Quick Look allows you to preview what is in a file without actually opening it. In this case, I have Drone Sketch right here as a JPEG, and if I press the spacebar, it'll open that up and let me see what that image looks like without actually opening it. There's also some editing and some sharing options or an open option here in the taskbar. You can do this to many different types of files as long as it is compatible. The thing you'll want to know how to do is to rename your files. If you click on a file and then right-click or two-finger click on a trackpad and select Rename, that'll allow you to name this what you'd like. Press Return to finish that, and that's how you rename your files. You can also click and drag them into various areas in order to change their location. Drag them back in, and that's how you move from a file from one location to another. Up here at the top is our view bar. This comes with some icons that are also useful. You can click this one and show everything as a list instead of as icons, or as columns so you can see where they are located within each other, or as a gallery in case you're browsing pictures and you want to see them all. There's also sort by kind or date last opened. There's share and tag and some more options here. If you'd like, you can also go to View and say customize this toolbar, and you'll be presented with other things that you can add up there, including Preview, AirDrop, iCloud, Quick Look, any of those particular spaces. You could also drag the default up there to switch to the default setting. The dock is the items down here at the bottom of your screen. They are surrounded by a transparent little glass area, and these are your shortcuts to apps. You will see that there's also some bars here, and you can actually see your most recently used apps as well. If you see an app with a dot underneath it, that means the app is currently open. Without a dot, it is not currently open. On the right-hand side, you have folders as well. And you can also have a trash here. If you have minimized any of your windows, they will also appear down here on the right-hand side. One thing you can do to change your dock would be to hover over these little bars that you see here, and your cursor will become an arrow back and forth like this, and this you can drag up and down to make your dock bigger or smaller. You could also go to dock settings. Underneath the Apple menu under System Settings, or the gear icon in the System Settings in your dock, there is Dock. If you type in Dock, you can see you can actually control the size of your dock like this, and you can do things like magnification. If I were to turn on magnification, then when I hover over my icons, they will actually get larger. I can change how much it's magnified by that little adjusty scroll bar, and I can set it to on or off. This is kind of helpful in case you like that. You could also change the position on the screen. It doesn't have to be on the bottom. It could be on the left side, or it could be on the right side. Set that to where you prefer it. You can minimize the windows using the genie effect too. That is also when you click here, it will minimize using that genie effect. Or you can double click a title bar to zoom into it, and other options you see here. If you like to hide the dock, there's a setting here to actually automatically hide and show it. You will not see it unless you move your cursor down to where the dock is, and then it will pop up. You can also have it animate anything that you're opening by clicking on it. It'll jump up and down, showing you that the app is opening. Here's an example of that. And you can show indicators for opening apps. That's the dot at the bottom that we talked about, and show suggested and recent item apps in the dock, which is these ones that we had mentioned already. The next thing we'd like to show you is the Launchpad. The Launchpad is in your dock down here at the bottom left-hand side. What this is a way for you to launch the apps that you see on your computer. If you click on this, it'll show you all the icons for every app on your computer. You can click and drag and move this to the left or the right, or if you have a trackpad, you can use 2 fingers to scroll between these and quickly launch any app. If you can't find the app, go to the search bar at the top and type in it, and it'll automatically filter and show you any app that is named this way. Then you can just click on that app to launch it. Click away to make it disappear, and that's all. Next is Spotlight Search. Spotlight is the fastest way to find and open things. Press Command Space on your keyboard and Spotlight will automatically appear. You can type in any app that you'd like and press Return and it will open. Another way to find Spotlight is in the bar above. There is an icon that looks like a magnifying glass, and that is also Spotlight. Clicking on that will open it as well. You can do more than just open apps. You can find files. So if you're looking for a particular file, you can just look for it here. You can also do simple math. If you type in a math equation, it'll show you what the answer is. You can even do web searches. If you look up for a 3D printer or anything like this, it'll also search the web for results on this. Just go ahead and click on the Chrome or the Safari icon to search for it. This will also search mail messages and anything else. This is the quickest way to find something on your Mac. Now let's cover System Settings. System Settings is available either as the gear icon in the bottom of your dock, or it's available underneath the Apple menu, or if you are just finishing Spotlight Search, you can actually type it into your Spotlight Search and press Return. The system setting is all the general settings for your computer. There are many things that you can do in here, and we're not going to cover them all in this video. But some of the things you might want to know about include using the mouse, where you can change the tracking speed of your mouse, change the natural scrolling. If you have a scroll wheel, you can scroll up and down, left or right, change what is your secondary click, or your double click speed, or your scrolling speed. If you have a trackpad, you can also change and adjust the way that you use that trackpad, including whether you want to click with it on secondary click, tap click, using gestures, swiping between pages using left and right, swipe between full screen applications, the notification center, whether you want to use swiping up with 3 fingers to do the mission control, many different things that you can do with a launch pad or a trackpad. This is also the area where you'd set up printers and scanners, or you can touch your type ID. Many of the settings that are unique to you can be changed here. There's also Apple Intelligence, which you can enhance your computer with, or change the appearance of your computer using different colors if you'd like. The desktop is also available. You can change your desktop icon here. Down here, use the Stage Manager, which is actually quite nice if you get into using the Stage Manager, and all these other displays, etc., etc. Getting a hold of those is extremely helpful. As a courtesy reminder, please reset all of your system settings before you leave. Another useful trick for organizing your file is using tags. If you select a file and you right-click, there is a way to tag it with a color. If you tag a file, it can then filter on the sidebar by that tag color. In this case, I have tagged both of these items as orange. Now, when I select the orange tags, every file that is tagged with that same color will appear here. If you would like to create your own tags, you can go ahead and click on the item you'd like to tag, right-click, and then say tags with a ... This will allow you to create your own tags. So I can call this one Computer Science, press Return, and that will allow me to create tags. Here is the tag now in the sidebar menu. Another way to organize the apps and the windows on your computer is by using Stage Manager. If you Spotlight search and go for Stage Manager, or you go to your system settings and the Apple menu, you can then navigate or search for Stage Manager and enable it. This here will turn on or turn off Stage Manager in case you like it or don't like it. When it is on, the windows of your desktop will be organized by app. As an example, on this screen, I have 3 different apps open. I have Chrome, the Activity Manager, and I have my Finder window, as well as my password. I can now click on one of these and it will show the particular windows for that app. The other windows will then get stacked into the stack here on the left-hand side. This allows me to have many different windows on one desktop, but quickly switch between each app. Another way to find and organize the windows is by using what we call Mission Control. Mission Control can be accessed by pressing F3. This will flatten all the windows that you currently have on your desktop into a single viewable form, and you can click between them. You no longer need to move them around to try to find what you want. You can simply use Mission Control. If you have a trackpad, this is also customizable to use 3 fingers and scroll up to do the same thing. Another feature of this is actually having multiple desktops. If you have an application in full screen, it will show up as its own desktop here at the top. Other desktops will show and be available depending on which windows are there. You can also add more desktops by pressing the plus button here, or removing them by pressing the X button on the upper left-hand corner of its icon. If I want to move from one item to another in a desktop, I can click on this, go into Mission Control, drag that item over to another desktop, and it will appear on that new desktop. Once I'm back here, if I want to again bring that back, I can take this, drag it, go into Mission Control, and move it to another desktop. This is another way of keeping your windows organized and spaces clean for particular situations. One thing that is noticeably different from Mac OS and Windows is the use of the menu bar. On the top of Mac is our menu bar, and this is specific to which particular window is active. As you can see, I am in Chrome at this time. If I were to open up another app, like the activity monitor, this menu is going to change and tell me which app I'm currently activated and its file menu specific for that app. You know which window you are working on because it will tell you up here exactly which app is actually being used. This occurs even if there is no active window for that app. As you can see, I'm still in Activity Monitor even though there is no open window for that. In the menu bar, there are many different icons that different applications use to quickly access different features of those applications. These are always stacked on the right-hand side of the menu bar. One of these is always this Wi-Fi, the spotlight, as well as control center. These little knob icons here are the control center. If you click on those, you will see that you have quick access to different things like your display brightness, the sound on your volume, and other various things. You can even turn on or off Stage Manager, or your screen mirroring, and access different AirDrop, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi settings. You can even change the focus of your particular app, and that is your control center. Next in the menu bar, you also have your Apple Intelligence here, or your Siri, that you can ask different various questions and have it do various tasks for you. Also, underneath the date, it does give you the date and the time, and if you click on that, you will open up a sidebar of widgets. These widgets will give you quick access to information that you might need, and they are customizable. If you scroll to the bottom, you can say Edit Widgets, and then find various widgets that you would like to add and drag them in. You can also remove widgets by clicking on the minus sign to remove them. A useful app to know about is the Activity Center. You can use a spotlight search to open the Activity Monitor. What this will do is give you the processes on your computer that are taking up the speed or the CPU of your computer. You can see the process's name here on the left-hand side and how much of its CPU it is utilizing. If something is using 100% of your CPU, it's probably going through a runtime error or some other issue that is causing your computer to slow down. You can also see how long you have been using various apps and whether or not there is a different type of percentage of GPU, the graphic processor unit, that it is also utilizing. To extend on this, you can also press Command-Option-Escape, and this will force quit applications. If there's an application in here that is no longer running, this right here will allow you to force quit it. All you have to do is select that particular app and then say force quit, and it will force that process to end, saving up resources and allowing your computer to no longer slow down or be frozen. Another native feature in macOS is the ability to collect files into a folder called compression. This allows you to share a selection of files in a single folder or single file instead of multiples. This makes it easier to send over email or to drag onto various cloud drives. To do this, you can click on a file and then hold down Shift to select more, or move down to select many. You could also press Option to unselect. You could also press Command to unselect very specific ones, and then right-click and say Compress. This creates a new archive zipped file that contains all of the files that we just had selected. You can go ahead and click to rename it, and there you have a zip file. If you receive a zip file and you want to open it, you can also do that by just double clicking on that, and it will create a new folder with all of those enclosed files. Another feature you need to know about is using the trash. Down here in the bottom of the dock on the right-hand side is your trash can. When there is something in the trash can, that means you have files there. If you click on it, it'll actually show you which files you have in the trash can. If you want to add something to the trash, you can click and drag over some items on your desktop, or you can right-click and say Move to Trash. This puts the items in the trash. This can also be accomplished by simply going to Finder and then clicking and dragging them to the trash in that same way, or by right-clicking and saying Move to Trash. Once you have them in the trash, you can then right-click and say Empty the Trash. You will want to confirm this, and now you can see there's an empty trash can and an empty trash. Another thing you can do with windows is to minimize, maximize, and close them. Every window has in the upper left-hand corner a red, a yellow, and a green dot. The red dot will close the window entirely. The yellow one will minimize it. If you're in stage mode, it'll minimize it to the stage mode. If you are not in stage mode, this will minimize to the dock. The green one does two things. You can move and resize your windows by hovering over and saying Move to the left-hand side, hover over, move to the right-hand side, or go full screen. You can also use this to exit full screen. When you do have something as full screen, it does end up as a separate item here in your desktops. Again, some of the more options we have here are fill and arrange the whole screen, or fill and arrange half or quarters. There's some various options for you here. You could also move it to a different monitor if you have one attached, or split left and right screen. If we do a left screen split, it'll ask you what you would like on the right-hand side, and then you can place some other item there. As an example, if I have more than one of these windows open, and I say click to fill the left of the screen, I can now click and right on my right-hand side have my other window. I can also adjust the proportions of their splits. When you do exit a split screen, the other will still be in as a full screen elsewhere. You can also organize and rearrange the window by simply dragging it. If you click and drag to the top and hold, you will see an outline showing you how you can arrange this particular window. This one would go full screen. I could also drag to the left and create a left hand or a left-sided arrangement, or drag to the right to create a right-handed arrangement. Simply let go and it will fill in that space. Now let's talk about using your computer to screenshot or screen record. If you press Command-Shift-4, that'll enable you to create a cursor where you can click, drag, and hold down, and then drag a window, and that will be an image capture. The image will show up here on the left-hand side and wait until you want to do something with it. After some time, it will save it directly to the actual desktop.
Right.
The other way is by pressing Command-Shift-5. This will enter into a special type of recording where you have some options. As you can see, there is capture the entire screen, or capture the selected window, or capture the selected portion. If you click on this, you can actually drag around and decide which part you want to capture. If you choose a window, you're going to select a specific window and hover over it to turn it blue, and it'll capture that window. If you decide to use the capture the entire screen, it'll take the entire picture, and all you have to do is click or say capture to capture the entire screen. There are also some recording options. If you click here, this is record entire screen. This will record the entire screen, and when you press record, you will see a stop in your menu bar to say, I want to stop this recording. When you stop the recording, it will send a video to wherever you choose to record this. The other way is by pressing Command-Shift-5 and then recording just a portion of the screen. If we choose to do this, I can record just a section of my screen. There are options here as well. These options say where to save the file. If you want on your desktop, your documents, or anywhere else, you can even choose a location here. You have timer options, and you have microphone options. There's other options here like show the mouse clicks or floating thumbnail, and these will help you record. That is how you record in Mac OS X. The last thing I want to mention are shortcuts. Shortcuts are a combination of key presses that enable you to create actions quickly. When you press these keyboard shortcuts, your computer will take actions that will enable you to work faster. Here is a list of some general shortcuts. There are many shortcuts out there, and the more you know, the quicker you will be at navigating your computer. This symbol refers to command. So Command plus C is copy. Command plus V is paste. Command X is cut, and you can put these together. They are all next to your keyboard as C, X, and V. And then there's also Command Z to undo a previous action. If you press Command Shift Z, you can redo that action. Command A is to select all the items in a window. Command S you should use the most. This is to save a current document as a file. And Command P will print the current document. Some of your other app and window arrangement include Command Q to quit the current application, Command W to close the current window, and Command Tab to switch between your most recently used applications. These are very good to use. If you say Command Tab, you can actually hold down the command and then tab over and select which app you want to instantly go to. If you press down Command Q, you will quit, and you can also do this while in the Command tab. So if I wanted to quit this text edit application, while I'm holding down Command, I just press Q, and it will quit that for me. Force quit applications is very helpful. Command Shift Q in order to quit an exact application, and then Command M to minimize. Those are the ones that you want to use the most. There are more of these, and you can get more comfortable with them if you use more of them, but that's all we're going to cover for now.